Hello and welcome to the second annual Sustainable Goals Gala, live from Midtown Manhattan. We are here during Climate Week New York City. I myself, Shatha Chakraborty, you hopefully will recognize, and my co-moderator, Nick Nuttall. Welcome to the US, Nick.
Yeah, very nice. I have been here before, it's not the first time, but you make me sound like I've just got off the boat from Germany and claiming asylum. But
Well, as a native New Yorker, I still feel the need to welcome anyone who makes their way across to this side of the Atlantic.
the huddled masses, yeah? Okay.
Inspired by the Statue of Liberty this week. Well, we have an incredible lineup for you this evening. We are excited to be here with our partner, Fashion for Development. And before we kick off the evening's program, we are going to be interviewing some of the honorees for this evening on our green carpet. So shall we get started?
I think we should get this rolling, yeah?
So we'd love to see our first guest join us here on the green carpet.
So, good evening and welcome. Hi. Thank you very much indeed for being here. What a wonderful dress. And you've even got the British flag on your handbag there, so yeah.
This was a gift from my boy.
Ah, okay. Tell us, what is your name and why you're here this evening?
I'm Sudha Reddy from India. I love the cause behind Evie's work, motivation, her inspiration towards the cause and all. So I came all the way from India to attend this evening and to be with her and to support the cause.
That's absolutely amazing. That's absolutely amazing. And do you have a connection with fashion in terms of believing that it's a force for good in the world?
Yes, yes. We have to make the world more beautiful place to live in. So I feel fashion and art supports it a lot. Where there is a fashion and art, the place becomes happy and lively. I believe in that. Yes.
We have a live global audience tuning in right now from all over the world, and it's so exciting to have you here from India, because you can really speak to not just India, but other countries that may not necessarily have the ability to join in person, but are still tuning in. So what do you say to those who are watching in India and around the world about why fashion and sustainability is so important?
Because fashion has a capability of making the world more beautiful and happy place. I believe in that. Fashion and art has the capability of making the world more beautiful if you make it fall at a right place in a right people. And I love the cause Evie is working for this. I really appreciate the way she works and her responsibility towards the world.
And what are you hoping to see come out of this evening and to see come out of this week in New York when all of these important people have gathered that can really make decisions to change the course of action for their people, their communities? What do you hope to see come out of this unique week?
I'm expecting a union of all the powerful people over here to make the world more powerful and positive and beautiful.
Fantastic, thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. That's very good. Are you? Can I escort you some way, or you're okay? All right. Thank you very much for being on the show. Well, that was interesting. All the way from India
From
for
Hyderabad,
tonight.
India, specifically too.
Hyderabad.
Yes.
Okay.
So as somebody who's from Calcutta, India, very few people show up from that part of the country. And majority of the Indian people you see, especially at, let's say, New York Climate Week, will be from Delhi, the capital of India, or from Mumbai.
Yes, you have to say Mumbai these days.
Mumbai.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Very few from Hyderabad. So it's really fascinating that our previous guest was coming here from south of India. That's
Absolutely.
a unique place.
That's amazing, amazing. So now we're looking for some more guests on Fashion for Development. Who is this gentleman here?
We have one of the co-hosts tonight, who are joining us today. Hello, how are you doing?
Hi, sweetheart. Thank you so much. I'm doing fine. Yourself?
We're doing well, and this is my co-host, Nick Nuttall, who's here for this.
We did meet, didn't we? We have met.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, upstairs. Yes, you taken care of?
Totally. I'm dry now after the thunderstorm. Yeah.
I know, that was unexpected.
So you need to tell us what brought you into this evening? How did you get involved? Why is it so important for you to be involved in fashion and sustainability?
Well, Evie is a beautiful soul. So when I got introduced to Evie from another beautiful soul, good friend of mine, and then Evie asked me to be co-MC for the banquet, I'm just, wow, what such an honor and such a delight. And I really enjoy her cause. because she's marrying, connecting sustainability with fashion, applying her skill set, connection set, to really cause a positive social change as well as help influence economic upward growth for everyone across all sectors, and leveraging and harnessing what's in the fashion, the beauty, and the lifestyle industry. I think it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big issue around the world right now. A lot of people are talking about, fast fashion versus sustainable fashion, and increasingly plastics are being used in the manufacture of, clothes which comes from fossil fuels, and also what happens at the end of the life of many pieces of clothing, which some of it ends up in some of the developing countries. They can't handle it and it gets incinerated. So I think it's an area that is not marginal in terms of its impact on the global environment and upon people's health and things like that. So I think if you're moderating tonight, which is fantastic, you become in a sense an ambassador for this cause.
Yes. It's spot on. One of the things I learned from Evie is that, Jason, fashion is such a wasteful industry. Now, if she could apply her resources and really kind of put it into the limelight in front of the world, powerful top leaders in the public sector and private sector, and orchestrate that, help people get more captivated, get more inspired to really make a change socially and across the supply chain, which is going to take some work, that. And also how people on the demand side view fashion. It's innovation at work. Oh, yeah.
What are you most excited about coming out this evening?
I'm a people person. I'm both introverted and extroverted. I love people. I'm here to inspire, enlighten, and to entertain as a co-MC. But I also look forward to learning more about sustainability, climate. I'm from Silicon Valley, so innovation, entrepreneurship, the greatest techs, powerful, blah, blah, blah. I'm very used to that. But I myself need to pay more attention to sustainability and climate myself. So I actually look forward to learning from everyone. While I'm presenting, I'm listening.
Well, you have to look at the name of our broadcasting company.
Right
we
here.
Don't have time. I love it.
Yeah, so you have to move very quickly to learn on this and then make your difference in the world.
I asked my friend John Doerr, who is the most powerful venture capitalist in Silicon Valley. He and his wife Ann cannot make it. I mean, he showed interest to come and to be an honoree, but they were pre-committed or something like that. So I think a few people are getting more aware of what's going on about fashion for development and what Evie and the team do. I'm in awe of what she does.
And we have another broadcast coming up for COP27. So we don't have time. We'll be in the diplomatic zone when all the country delegation heads come together in Egypt the first 2 weeks of November, and we're broadcasting live from there for 2 weeks straight. So that's an opportunity potentially to bring in yourself again in some of these networks to talk about fashion and beyond. Because a lot of the lessons that we're learning from fashion can be applied to other sectors: food, agriculture, transportation, heavy industries. These are all, if we break down some of these silos and share some of these lessons, we can actually accelerate solutions across all of these different sectors.
Absolutely.
So fashion is a great place to start because it's one of the highest emitting sectors. But what does this mean now for the other ones too? So thank you for your interest. Thank you for sharing all of this with your network.
To that is that fashion is a great spearhead because it's exciting to people. So people act and think emotionally, so using that as a spearhead is a good thing.
It brings people in, right?
It's very important. Fashion and food are the two areas that touch people's hearts. Oh, and music as well. Great, nice to meet you.
Thank you. See you inside. So there's quite a mix of people here, right?
Yeah,
Nick?
quite a mix of people. Somebody from Silicon Valley who's just really starting his journey, in a sense, on what sustainability is. And I think that's fine. We've got to bring everybody on board and sensitize them to these issues, and they can make a difference.
And he shouted out John Doerr, his friend from Silicon Valley. If you're listening, John, we wish you were here. And I mean, we definitely know that you can make a massive impact in accelerating solutions to the climate crisis. So we would love for you to join us in this collaborative effort. I think we can really turn the tide on climate. Look at all these people here. Don't turn the cameras now. We don't want to mess up the tech.
We don't want to mess up the text, but we want to talk to some other people now, don't we? So I'm just wondering where they are. Are you here to come and talk to us?
Fantastic. Please join us.
Who are you guys?
How are you? I'm Brian Allred, and this is Mark Kay. We're with Texas Biotech.
Texas Biotech, what is that?
Texas Biotech has been a research company for the last 15 years working on soil and cleaning up the health of soil using less chemicals. We've come out with some really exciting products, but the one that we're the most excited about is called Res-Free. It's really meant to help in the agricultural side, and we're excited to introduce to the world a project we did in Algeria where we went to the middle of the Sahara Desert, and I think everybody knows what's happening with people who are starving in the Sahara and actually are migrating because they need food. We took 800 acres of property and we drilled into the sub-Mediterranean. We pulled up brackish water, added the res-free product to it, and grow crops. And we're able to feed animals with the crops, we're able to feed people with the crops, and it's incredibly exciting.
That's fantastic. So how does that actually relate to something like fashion? Because we're here at the Fashion for Sustainability Gala, and we have answers to this, because we love when worlds and sectors cross each other, right? We need that. But I'm curious as to how you approach the breaking down of silos between fashion and agriculture.
So I think that fashion is something that always brings people together. And it really gives an opportunity for organizations and private industry to look at something like agriculture and food security and say, hey, we're all involved in this in some major way. And typically when you find people who are passionate about anything, especially something like fashion, they usually have that art, and it's as much art as it is science. We need to bring those things together in order to really cure the world.
I just wanted to ask you a little bit more about your breakthrough here. So what are you actually doing is in some kind of sustainable way desalinating brackish water so that it can actually be used in crops, animal feed, growing, and people drinking, yeah? So it's a form of desalination?
So what Res-Free is actually bacteria, over 8,000 different types of bacteria. That with enzymes, you put that into the symbiotic relationship with plants, and it helps the plants to grow. So we've seen everything from as little as 7% growth and as much as 40% growth in plants. We've used this in Canada, we've used it here in the US, we've used it in Algeria, and what it's doing is making it so we can use less chemicals. Today we use a lot of chemicals in the earth that really kill the earth, and there's nothing that re-stimulates that. And so that's what Res-Free is. And it's just a fun test, but I'm the most excited about Algeria. We recently took a trip out there, and it's impressive to pick up sand and see soil and sand in the middle of the Sahara.
I mean, these are the kinds of solutions we need to support other companies and other organizations that are trying to restore forests as well, right? It's part of a chain link of different outcomes that are all beneficial for the climate. If we can restore soil, now we're talking about planting indigenous trees again. Now we're talking about an ecosystem and biodiversity, and it all is a nature-based solution ultimately that has been unfortunately lost for too long. So it's fantastic what you're doing.
Mark was telling me he met somebody here today who's planning on planting 1 trillion trees. And he said this is an organization we need to tie in with and help them to be able to do that, because not only can we help them plant them, we can help make sure they grow, and in a sustainable way that feeds the soil and cures the earth.
I believe that's our partner, Terraformation.
It could be Terraformation, which was a guy who was originally the head of
the CEO of Reddit, Yishan
Reddit,
Wang.
and they're living in Hawaii. Yeah, we've had them on our show. They're very interesting indeed. I mean, the big challenge, of course, is guaranteeing that you're choosing the right trees in the right place, and I think that's absolutely vital.
Yeah, thank you very much. And we're excited about the award. We're excited to get together with these other companies and really for everybody who put this together. It's incredibly beneficial.
Your colleague here has been very quiet.
Yeah.
Just say something.
You
Say something to
him. She's the CEO, so actually it's all about the food security. And food security is the global challenge right now. And we believe that with the Texas biotechnology, what we do is just to restore the soil health. And once you know that there are three important things in the soil to grow plants. One is the soil structure, soil chemistry, and soil biology. And we didn't give too much attention to soil biology, and in Texas Biotech, this is what we do. We are giving what we have taken from soil, and we're giving it back to soil to grow plants.
Yeah, and wiggly worms and beetles and other things are massively underrated, aren't they?
Yeah, you said it.
Well, thank you to you both, and have an incredible evening. Congratulations. And we look forward to seeing what you do coming out of Algeria, and where we can support you, we will be there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, quite a mix of people again, right? Biotech, Texas.
People, yeah. I'm just a bit concerned that we got this live feed from here.
Yes.
And I feel like we're sort of slightly turning our backs on the wonderful audience out there in the global world,
We're sorry,
But,
audience in the global world.
Yeah, we're trying our best to actually focus on you
Here,
too.
why don't we bring her? Why don't we bring her into the middle here?
Okay, come into the middle
Here, come
here,
into the-
right next to us. And there we go. That's absolutely perfect. Who are you and what are you doing here?
Well, I'm an honoree for tomorrow, and my name is Gina Diaz Barroso. I'm from Mexico City, and my honor is for empowering women.
Well, that's very exciting. I used to work for a Mexican lady called Patricia Espinosa, who I think was either your foreign minister or something like that at one time. And I met President Calderon when I was working for the environment wing of the UN. He was a Superman too.
Super person,
And,
a
and,
good
you,
friend.
and are you passionate about fashion and sustainability?
I am passionate about fashion sustainability and to make a better world.
So what? I have had the pleasure of meeting you before at the Sustainable Goals Banquet, the first one, and this now is the second one. So what was your experience there versus where we are now, and where are you hoping to see the outcomes of tonight go?
Well, I think we've come a long way, although slowly, but I think we've come a long way, and I do think that our voice is being heard every time more. And my goal is to make everybody not only when people say about going net zero, we want to go net positive. So I do think that it's a goal that we can achieve, and I'm passionate about this thing, and it's not about just being concerned and worried. It needs to be done, and now time is of essence. And I do think that initiatives like this will make the world change.
I just wanted to say that in the last 9 months, I started doing what my grandma did and what my mother sometimes did, which I started repairing my clothes. And when I'm watching football matches on TV, I sit there with a little needle doing my socks. And to me, it's a real statement to walk out with a pair of socks that have actually been darned, as they say in English. The wool has been, and even a shirt or something like that. People go, wow, what's happened there? And I go, I fixed it. They go, wow. So, I mean, everybody can do a little something on this topic.
Everybody, and people sometimes think that what they do is not enough, and they say, well, what can I do? A seed if you plant a seed, it will become a forest. Yep. So literally, whatever you do, it's enough. Because if we all do something, as you said, what you did with your socks, yep. If we do something, if we wear vintage clothing, tomorrow I'm going to wear a vintage suit. Yep. So I think if you wear vintage, if you wear something that you mended, something that you did, you're helping the environment.
Yeah. Thanks very much. I feel much better now.
Vintage for you, rented for me. I do vintage too, so thank you for sharing that, because our global audience that is tuning in through the We Don't Have Time platform is like, this is all a beautiful experience to be live streamed into, but what can I do wherever I am in the world to help contribute to this? So thank you for sharing that. Anything else you would like to leave our audience with?
Well, just to get involved, everybody has to get involved. If you do something, you're doing a lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Please just watch the wires.
Watch the wires, yes.
So, Nick, we have many people that would like to have a conversation. So, why don't we see who is joining us now? Please come join us. What a gorgeous dress you're wearing. Here, just avoid the wire. We can't have any fashion faux pas because of us. And what happens on your own is not to do with us. Lovely to meet you. Tell us who you are.
Lovely to meet you too. I am Lydia Abela, spouse of the Prime Minister of Malta.
The Prime Minister of
Malta.
Wow, welcome, First Lady.
Thank you. Thank you.
She is the wife of the Prime Minister of Malta.
Ah, Malta, right? So you're Maltese.
I am Maltese.
Fantastic. So where does fashion, fast fashion, sustainable fashion, fit into maybe your life or the life of the Maltese nation?
Yes, I believe that sustainable development should lie at the core of the fashion industry. And I believe that it is important to address two issues, both the social issue and the environmental issue. With regards to the social issue, we have to improve the conditions of the labor force in the industry. And with regards to the environmental issue, we have to address and reduce the carbon waste and the toxic waste. So I think that, yes, it's important that fashion lies in the core of sustainable development, and I am very proud to form part of this global effort to make fashion a driver for change.
Because the world has changed very much in a short space of time, whereby, people literally buy a t-shirt, which may have used gallons and gallons and gallons and liters of water to make, and lots of other chemicals produced. They try it on, maybe they wear it once, and then they either throw it away or they stick it in the wardrobe and it's never seen again. And we need to have a new relationship with our clothing, don't we? A new relationship with what we wear, to value what we purchase. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes a lot of sense, and I think this initiative is very important because it is highlighting what you are saying. We have to, all of us, be responsible consumers and responsible producers, and making the fashion industry a big driver for change.
Well, thank you so much for being with us. It's been wonderful to have you here, and enjoy the evening.
You look fabulous, and looking forward to seeing you at the First Lady's Luncheon tomorrow as well. Enjoy the evening.
Thank you very much.
Well, we're talking about country leaders, we're talking about
Yeah.
fashionistas, influencers,
Unbelievable.
company
She
heads.
was so strong, was the First Lady of Malta, on the need to, really recognize the relationship with fast fashion and sustainability.
Richard, please join us here in the middle.
Thank you.
Amazing to see you. How are you doing?
Wonderful. Thank you for covering Climate Week. I enjoy your blog and your reporting. It's a pleasure to speak with you.
Well, we can't hear enough compliments. What was that again? No, I'm joking.
You have insightful, science-driven commentary on your blog. It's amazing.
Okay, I'm done. I'm going to drop the mic. We're holding mics. We can drop them. It's time to leave with that being the final thing that was said tonight. We are very evidence-driven. So tell us a little bit about you for our viewers who might be meeting you for the first time, and what brings you here this evening?
So I'm Richard Kane. I'm the chairman and CEO of Verijet. I'm one of the awardees tonight. We've made aviation safer, more sustainable, more environmentally friendly. That's what we're doing here. And then I have an exciting announcement this evening.
Are you about to give us the announcement, or are we going to have to wait until you hit the podium?
Oh, let's wait for the podium, I guess.
Oh, what a shame.
Nick, you're better at twisting arms.
Do you know, actually, we get several million people watching our TV shows around the world.
Let's do it now.
Okay, let's do it now. What is it?
So we have worked with an X Prize winning team, Dimensional Energy. They are one of the leaders in the $100 million carbon sequestration X Prize, funded by Elon. I'm one of the original backers of X Prize. So we've gone from suborbital space planes to environmental solutions. We're going to be buying 750,000 gallons of their sustainable Jet A, made in a solar reactor. It's jet fuel made from water and carbon dioxide and sunlight, and zero carbon. So today Verijet is completely carbon neutral with 4 air, but tomorrow will be carbon zero.
Look at that.
So
Not
Wow.
carbon neutral, carbon zero.
carbon zero. Yep, carbon sequestered from
Congratulations.
the atmosphere.
Congratulations. And I think we would like to know, maybe in 6 months or a year, how it goes with it.
Oh, of course, it would be my pleasure.
Such a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for supporting
We can't
us.
wait. Congratulations. We can't wait to hear this again on that podium.
We will be out at White Plains with some of our jets, and we flew some of the attendees here today. If you can make it out at White Plains Wednesday morning, we'll take you for a flight.
I am going to take you up on that, sir. You have no idea. I cannot wait to fly
Thanks, Richard.
sustainably.
Perfect.
Appreciate it.
Come on, because I'm a bit worried we won't get to talk to you, actually, because they're all queuing up there like mad. This is Shutta, who's a colleague of mine. We don't have
nice
time.
to meet you. You look incredible.
Yeah, and this is. I'm looking like a jellyfish, and we need to go this way. We need to move this way. We need to move this way. We need to move this way. And Serentip is a musician, Shutta, who's just done a really fantastic album that's coming out very shortly called.
It's called Carbon.
It's called Carbon. Tell us about it.
So Carbon is my new album, which is coming out on October 14th, and it's all based on the causes and effects of climate change. So every song, there's 13 tracks, every song is built on a specific topic, and I've found ways to build the topics into the music by using data sonification to bring awareness to plastic pollution. I sampled plastic trash from my kitchen. For biodiversity, I transcribed the mating dance of the black sickle bill. So that's just like some of the few ways that I try to build the concepts into the songs.
And Nick, this isn't fair. You're a musician, and this is like musicians have so much insight. What about the layperson? So I'm coming not from the world of music at all. So for people like me, tell me, why is this so groundbreaking, and why is it so exciting that music is now actually entering this realm? It's long overdue, no?
Well, hopefully, I hope that you like the record, because I did not try to build the topics into the lyrics. It's not like, let's recycle more, or what it is. Like, it's built into the music. So, for instance, the song that is about plastic pollution, the plastic drum set, is what it's about. But the song itself are actually lyrics from my best friend about how, texting me about when I'm most not having a good day and just helping me feel good enough. So it's the lyrics themselves are relatable. The songs themselves make you feel good, but then the messages are built in. It's almost like a Da Vinci type of code thing.
I love that. Thank you for making this accessible to a wider audience, right? Because it brings in more people that way. That's incredible.
But, this lady has also thought through the whole supply chain of the music industry to the extent that you recorded it in a
solar-powered recording studio
in
North Carolina.
So when is the album coming out?
October 14th.
You've got to listen to it, Shutta.
Absolutely.
I've already listened to some tracks, and they're
Queuing
really.
this up on Spotify. I will be one of the first downloads. Watch.
There's actually 2 singles already out on Spotify.
Okay.
2 of them are already out.
Tell me the names.
The first one is called Hydrogen. It came out on August 19th. And the second one is called It's All Right. And that's a plastic pollution one. And it came out just 3 days ago on September 16th.
You are already my favorite musician. I love this mergence of science and music. Thank you for what you're doing. That's awesome.
And the last thing is, you're performing tonight at Fashion for Development, yes?
I'm actually performing tomorrow at the luncheon.
Ah, okay. So I didn't get to hear you because I'm working, and she gets to hear because she's working, but she's running off to that just for a brief moment at the luncheon. So you'll get to hear it.
I can't wait. I can't wait to share this. Again, coming from somebody like me who's not in the music world, it is so exciting that we are bridging that gap. So thank you, truly.
Thank you so much.
Thanks very much, Sirintip, and so nice to see you, and can't wait to hear how much she enjoys it tomorrow at the lunch.
I can't
I'm
wait.
so jealous.
Appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Just be careful with the wire.
Watch the wire.
Yes.
Okay, see you later. Bye.
This is what we don't need. We need to get in the back. Okay. Okay, Mickey Shapiro, come on down.
Mickey Shapiro.
Join the We Don't Have Time live global broadcast. Okay. Lovely to meet you. So please, for our global audience tuning in right now.
Why am I here?
Yeah, tell us who you are, why you're here.
I'm an entertainment lawyer, but I'm also a music producer. So Diane Warren wrote a gorgeous song called Free with my dear friend Mick Fleetwood, and we put together the track. I went to Atlanta, we got the Ebenezer Baptist Church choir to sing behind it, and then the great, incomparable Dionne Warwick recorded it, and the proceeds from this are going to go to address the issue of refugees around the world. And I was ignorant. Obviously, the Ukraine is the first thing about refugees. But I learned there's 81 million refugees. Most of them are black and brown. So everyone's going to get the benefit. All the artists are waiving all their royalties, and as am I, of course. So it's an honor and a privilege to do this.
So basically, the population of somewhere like Germany,
right.
The equivalent are refugees around the world.
Yes, when you think about it, so in popular terms, think about 81 million homeless people, because that's what refugees are. They're homeless people. And like all homeless people, medical requirements, psychological issues, health issues, sanitation issues. So, people complain about this country. We are so abundant. And I have to say one thing. Musicians have an intrinsic understanding of the value of their work touches the hearts and souls of everybody. That's not saying filmmakers aren't important, or painters, but everyone will think about a song, and a song that touches your heart hopefully will touch their pocketbooks.
Well, he's going to agree with you, because the way that you, as a musician himself.
You're a musician, right.
Well, yeah, not as famous as you, Mickey, but my girlfriend's quite famous. She's a German pop star.
Well,
really?
Put that into the microphone.
Oh yeah, my girlfriend's quite famous. She's a German pop star.
Well, I used to represent Giorgio Moroder. Do you remember him?
Wow.
Love to Love You, Baby.
Yeah, Love to Love You, Baby. Well, that's fine. But I want to ask you one quick question, right? These refugees, right? Some of the refugees of war, but some of them are also refugees of a changing climate.
Correct. the main issue is, I started doing these shows, these kind of things in 1972. I used to have hair. Really?
Really?
I know, hard to believe that.
Do you have a photograph?
No, it's in a post office. You'll see it posted. But the fact of the matter is, George Harrison did a thing called Concert for Bangladesh. I was a young lawyer and I helped him then. And when Quincy did We Are the World, I worked that because I was at that time representing Fleetwood Mac, and Lindsey Buckingham was one of the singers in We Are the World. And Quincy's been a dear friend of mine. And in this project, just when I saw those miserably unhappy children in the Ukraine, I called Diane. I said, I want to do it. She said, Mickey, go do it. I called Mick. I flew to Maui. Mick put the most amazing drumming on it. So this is really, I mean, I'm doing this stuff for 55 years. This is the only thing I don't remember. I only want to be remembered for. Seriously.
Well done.
Thank you. No, this is exactly why you are here.
Yeah.
That was the first question that you asked yourself, but it's true.
And the other thing I want to, not one artist is getting, there's no royalties. Diane, Mick, myself, the lady who works for me, put this all together. We're just doing this because, you know something? It'd be nice to be unselfish, and there's magic in music. It touches everybody's heart. I believe that.
Yep. Thank you very much indeed.
We hear
for being
you.
us.
Thank you.
We love it. We love it. Thank you very
Appreciate
much
that, Mickey.
indeed.
Thank you for everything you're doing. See you
Okay,
inside. Enjoy.
bye. See you inside.
Well, look at that.
It's
We
music
had-
after music. Who,
You know
who
what?
else have we
No.
got lined up?
Sure.
Yeah, come on down. Come on down. It's like a game show.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Hi.
Come here and.
Just be aware of the wire. We don't have insurance here just for this part of the carpet.
We don't want you making a mess on the carpet. It's supposed to be called the green carpet, but we haven't seen any green at all.
I know, I was confused. I came here late anyways, but it counts.
You called them out, Nick. You called them out.
I called them out. So who are you and what are you doing here?
My name is Konstantin Malik. I'm from the Malik Institute in Switzerland, actually. And what we do is we network the great transformation. So I'm extremely excited to be here because these are all people who are passionate but also knowledgeable about sustainability, the change we need to do in food, in fashion, and the environment. And for that we need to work together, and that's exactly what we do.
So you came here all the way from Switzerland?
We did. Actually, we're in Italy at that time.
Okay.
But we made that trip to be here, yes.
Okay.
Because I think, you are from We Don't Have Time, correct?
Yes, we are.
So that's that's why we're here. We don't have time.
So
And
what are you hoping to see? What brought you here, and what are you hoping to see come out of this week? Because obviously, we're kicking it off. Today's Monday. It's the Fashion for Development Gala. This is United Nations General Assembly. It's Climate Week New York. There's so much happening. Everybody's congregating, those who have the ability to, in New York right now. And so there's big expectations. What are you hoping to see come out of this week?
I would hope to see real action come out of this from any direction.
Yep.
In very little time, hopefully. But I understand how these events go. There's a lot going on. You have a lot to do. But I think that's exactly what we need. We need to bring people together in a new fashion where they can basically orchestrate ideal solutions together, something we work on. And I'm hoping that's already something we might see in this week.
So we don't have time. We're a global broadcaster these days. We get about 10 million viewers per show now, so it shows people are interested in the climate story. We focus and showcase a lot of tech startups and smart ideas and interesting things. So, if you guys are working on anything from your end that you want to showcase, then you should get in contact with us because we'd love to showcase on our show.
I would love that very much, yes. We're all about social tech, basically. I think what we see these days is that the challenges we have are accelerating, but they're more and more interconnected. And we need a lot of people to solve that. So what we need is solutions that can bring people together in a new fashion, where not only the individual intelligence and creativity is set free, but where it is merged with the creativity and the solution that other people can find. And where we not just find mere compromises, but ideal and optimal solutions for everybody, and the commitment and shared plans and ideas that will get implemented. And that's the kind of methods and solutions that we're working on. So I'd love to do that with you, yes.
I think we're going to have to come back and talk to you offline sometime later about this. By the way, last question. Do you know Marco Rosnek?
Do I know Marco Rosnek? I do not know.
We've got to get you together with Marco. He's based in Switzerland too. And he does this amazing show, doesn't he? And he's a big supporter of We Don't Have Time.
Shoot.
Every year in Zurich.
Well, great.
It's the
even though
Marco,
you
we
forget
love
the name,
you.
I'm in. I'm in. So please do.
Yeah, I will get you the details and send it to
brain
you.
froze at the same time. We absolutely brain froze.
Yeah, great. I mean, we're all working for the same cause, right? So let's do it.
Exactly. Let's do it. Okay,
Thank you
thanks a
very
lot.
much.
Great to see you.
Cheers.
Thank you. See you inside.
Bye.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Check the water.
Well, Marco was on the executive board for
Yeah.
We Don't Have Time.
What
for some time.
is Marco's show then?
It's every December.
Every December in
In
Zurich,
Zurich.
yeah. We've got the place. We've got the month of the year.
We have Ingmar watching right now,
We
throwing
have
things
Ingmar
at the screen.
throwing things at the
screaming
screen,
at
saying,
us.
"How can you not remember Marco's big event?" Marco, we met some great guy from Switzerland.
But he lives in Ibiza.
Okay,
Yeah.
and we will put you in touch with him later.
Yeah, fantastic.
Okay.
So again, what an incredible evening with so many friends and familiar faces, and
Oh, I can see Susan Bass from Earth Day
there we
over
have
there.
earthday.org, but
Kathleen
you know,
won't be far behind.
our audience won't be able to see what we're seeing, so we need to pull some people in
Yeah.
from the cocktail reception. But soon a show will kick off, and the highlights of the show will be condensed into a reel that viewers can enjoy at their convenience. And I believe we're going to be airing it, if not this week, then for our COP27 broadcast.
Yeah, I think so too.
Noah.
Noah. Noah, that's the Marco Rosnick conference. Noah. Who's this wonderful lady here? Maybe I should go and see if she wants to come and chat to us.
Sure.
Would you like to come and chat to us about fashion for development?
We are now dragging innocent people onto the green carpet.
Yeah, we're on a live TV show here.
For your
Come and tell us who you are. Yes, everybody's somebody. What's your name and where are you from?
Ramona Rooney. I am from Philadelphia.
You're from, did you say Greece?
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, okay. And do you think fashion should be sustainable?
Absolutely. Fashion is a form of quality of life, the best quality of life, and I think it should extend to healthcare, to technology, to all different disciplines, because fashion has always shown the best quality of life and how to live in the best way. And I think it should expand to the other disciplines, and it should expand to other sectors like healthcare. Fashion for healthcare, for the best healthcare. Fashion for the best technology. Fashion for the best agriculture.
Right.
Fashion for everything.
Fashion for solving climate change.
Exactly. Right. Why not? Because fashion is a symbol of the best quality of life.
Super. I think you just summed it all up very beautifully. This is my colleague Shutta here.
Hello, lovely to see you. You look fabulous. So I think Nick was already asking you about the role of fashion. My question for you is, what are we hoping to get out of this? Bringing together these fabulous people into this evening, and with Climate Week and UNGA happening at the same time, what do we hope to come out of this?
I think the best way to put it is that, fashion is something to, spell beauty, spell best quality of life, spell, the exquisite style of life, and I think it should expand everywhere. I think that with fashion, we could extend it to many other disciplines to bring all the people together. We can tell them, wherever you are, however you look, you can be your best. You can look fashionable. Fashion will take you to that world where you can feel your best. Although it's, even if you are in a very third world country, you can come out and bring your best.
It brings everybody in. It makes it collaborative. Thank you so much for those kind words.
Thank
We
you
really
very much
appreciate
indeed.
you. Thank you.
Bye.
Well, this man needs no introduction. This is Nigel Barker, very well known in the world of fashion. Hello, sir. Amazing to see you.
Pleasure. Nice to meet you both.
Nice to meet you too. You sound British.
With a name like Nigel, yes.
Yes, everyone in Britain is called Nigel. You don't know that, do
There's
you?
a Nigel topping that has been making the headlines.
Actually, it turns out that last year I was contacted by the Times because nobody was named Nigel. Not a single child United Kingdom was named Nigel, and they wanted to do an article with me about the fact that the name was now extinct. So actually, no one is called Nigel, and I'm here to represent.
I was a bit worried the Times was going to ask you whether you should get out there and have more children and name them Nigel.
You know, I've tried. Unfortunately, I think there's many small dogs called Nigel Barker now. Normally little chihuahuas that I see on Instagram. Not enough people, unfortunately.
Gentlemen, we are digressing from the topic here. We are
Yes,
at
good
Fashion
point.
for Development. This is Climate Week New York City. The United Nations is meeting, and there is a Nigel Topping who is a climate champion. And we're curious from your vantage point, somebody who is so well known and regarded in the world of fashion, how you bridge the gap between fashion and sustainability.
Well, I mean, it's really about what you do with your money, right? It's how you shop. It's essentially, you know, as an individual, you know, as a father, you know, when I go out and I look for either clothing or brands that I'm going to represent, like Yes And, for example, which is a great brand where all elements of everything that they produce, from where it's made to how they make it to the fabrics themselves to, you know, how they recycle all aspects of it. You know, that brand is from top to bottom sort of eco-friendly, right? And so it's important that you make decisions as a consumer, because you have a lot of power as a consumer, and also obviously as a photographer and as someone who works in the business, I make sure that I work for brands that are being responsible in this world. It's up to every one of us to make that decision. Otherwise, it's not just for governments to, you know, to say, oh, you know, this is okay, that's not okay. It's for all of us, every single one of us, to step up and realize that we have power.
I'm Evie, by the way.
Hi, Evie. I recognize you, but we've not met before. But it's a pleasure.
Nice to meet you.
This is a woman who put it all together.
To be with us.
It's my pleasure.
So I'm happy to hear what you're saying, Nigel, because we all have to come together.
Truly.
And I think we can educate people through fashion, through all the arts, and get their attention. So how can you help us with all of that? Because you are a personality that reaches out.
Well, I'm here to help. So, I mean, ultimately, that's why I'm here tonight. I'm here, I've been a big fan and a big supporter of Global Citizen since they started, since 2012. Hugh Evans and I have been friends, and I have, you know, watched the work that they've done and the impact of activating young people to take action. You know, you can talk and you can wax poetic on any subject, but actions speak louder than words, and you have to live it. You have to do it, and you have to make change, and you have to sometimes force change. I hate to say it, but you really do. You have to say, look, enough's enough, and I'm not going to do that, or I'm not going to buy that, and that might mean that you don't get something that you wanted, but this world of ours is incredibly fragile, as we know, and we're discovering every day, every year, it's getting crazier and crazier. The weather is getting more and more dramatic. You know, the flooding in Pakistan, the situations in Europe are devastating. And for some reason we managed to sort of sugarcoat it, or we forget it, but we cannot, and we're going to be unable to very, very soon, as the climate has permanently changed in many places. In many places, I hate to say it, we might already be too late.
Oh, we are.
Right.
We already are.
Right.
I can tell you.
No, and I agree. I agree. You know.
If anybody explained this as well as you, thank you for getting it and explaining it to a community that doesn't necessarily naturally align to the climate movement, but there's no reason spokespeople like yourself and others that are highly influential can bring these actors together to really collaborate and to contribute to accelerating solutions to the climate.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much, and thank you for having this wonderful event. I know this is your second year. It's amazing that you're doing it. You've got a beautiful crowd together here, and you know, a lot of very influential people, which is incredibly important. Because you know, obviously people listen, but everyone out there, I just want you to say, you have the power. You know, it's really up to every single person, every single household. And it doesn't matter how old you are. If you're just a kid and you think you don't make it, it doesn't matter who you are, you don't have the dollars to spend. You do. Influence your parents. My kids tell me all the time what to get, what not to get. My daughter will get upset with me if I buy something that's wrong or not wrong, and I get educated. So don't think that you don't have that power. You all have the power, and only together can we fix this problem. So really.
Tomorrow's our 10-year anniversary of First Lady's Luncheon with all the UN. So we've been doing this for a long time, so I'm hoping something is changing. I'm hoping.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for everything that you do, and please continue to be a champion for the climate. Thank you so much. Nigel Barker, everybody.
Thank you, Nigel. It's good to discuss Nigel rather than fashion, you know. But once you've got two powerful ladies there, you can't get a word in edgeways. So, you know.
Sorry, it's hard.
It's great, but good points that you made, and I also think the governments have a role here to actually legislate as well about what is acceptable and what is not acceptable in a world that has to peak its global emissions in 3 years, nearly halve them by 2030, to have a 50-50 chance of net zero in 2050. So I think we have a role. I think the governments have got to start getting back into the game of governing and what is actually acceptable. Yeah.
I mean, the big problem there, and this is one of those arguments, is that most governments are in for 4 years, right? In America, right? So, and then there may be 8. Right, so,
well, in America it's more like 2 years,
right.
Isn't it?
So this is the problem, right? So they are all looking after themselves and short term. There are very few visionaries out there, and they are all about being re-elected. So it's these sort of long-term goals of what can I do for the country and for the world. And, and I guess there's another issue. We have the United Nations, okay, here this week, and all these world leaders, they stand for their countries, but we have to forget about country lines. We have to really understand that this is one world and we are all one people, and that when we do something in one country, the ripple effect can affect all countries. So we have to come together. We have to support countries that can't afford to make the changes because they're simply not in an economic situation as we are. And likewise, we have to stand up and make change.
But just on the more positive side, some things are going well. Renewable energy is doubling now every 3.5 years. It's going exponential.
Sure.
And so it looks like we've cracked it on the energy front. We can get over this blip with the Ukraine.
Yeah, I mean, it's exponential, but but let's be realistic. It's exponential, but we're so many years behind where this exponential curve needed to be. Yeah. Right? So we're about a decade back. So we got to hurry up, and we got to make sure that so we have to use less energy. We've got to be smart about it.
Yes. Saving energy is something that is almost like a Cinderella topic that nobody thinks about.
Talks about. No, I listen. I'm a big one for turning all the lights off all the time. Making sure that we just do smart stuff. We don't do enough smart things. We open doors. We on the streets with air conditioning blaring in the high street stores. You see it over and over again in the fashion industry. A lot of waste. So it's all about recycling. It's about giving back. It's about sharing. It's stuff which we're all taught to do, but we don't do it enough.
And it's about getting the plastic out of fast fashion as well.
100%.
Good. Thank you very much.
My pleasure, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, look, now we've had our first lady.
Yep.
We've had Nigel Barker, who is highly regarded and well known.
Ah. And now we have somebody else coming.
Now we have Scarlett Magda, who's a good friend.
I know her actually.
Yeah.
She was on one of the shows, wasn't she?
She was in Stockholm Plus 50 with us.
Yes. Come on, Scarlett.
Come on down, Scar. You call her Scarlett, I call her Scar.
You're looking very glamorous. I'm looking less glamorous because I got caught in the downpour of the rain. So I'm still kind of drying out. This is called drip dry right now. So yeah.
Well, you should be grateful, because I would call that a blessing. In many parts of the world, we're facing drought, so it's a good thing that happened to you today, despite
I am so glad you reminded me.
You
reminded me, because I lived in Africa, and they always call the rain a blessing. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm going to ask that first question. Just say your name for the global audience, and I know you've been on a We Don't Have Time show, but say your name and what are you doing here?
I'm Dr. Scarlett Magda. I'm the founding president of Veterinarians International, and I'm here to represent the animal kingdom and its need to be protected in the crisis that we're in right now with climate and resource shortages.
Okay, and Shuta, you're going to ask what the role of fashion and all that is, aren't you?
So this is a woman who bridges One Health, this idea of animal health, human health, and environmental health with fashion so seamlessly that it makes the rest of us look like we just rolled out of bed this morning. So we don't know how you do it, Scarlett, but we are so pleased that you have been a friend of We Don't Have Time, you're a partner of We Don't Have Time, you're Veterinarians International, and you're really creating this full narrative around how we all are interconnected, humans, animals, and nature. This real One Health approach, or what we, Nick, with all our partners that we've been recently working with, it's very much a nature-based approach. It's a nature-positive approach. So talk to us a little bit about how far you've come from this concept of One Health and where you see nature-based solutions going forward.
Well, right now we're focused on training and empowering veterinarians and building veterinary capacity. So at this juncture, we're in Kenya working with the University of Nairobi and the county governments. So our goal is to have more veterinarians to care for these animals who are in major despair due to drought. And where I see the future is us being mindful of our choices that we make every day. The food that we eat, the clothing we wear, where it comes from has an impact on the planet and of course the animals. So I think, as you mentioned before, this concept of One Health, we're all connected in one life body, humans, animals, the environment, and understanding this interconnectedness and how being responsible with our choices, we can make a difference. And why not look good in the meantime? I mean, this event's all about fashion for our development, so using fashion as a tool to talk about the message you want to convey, I think is brilliant.
And you do it so well. Thank you so much, Scarlett.
Thanks, Scarlett. Thanks for popping in, and we hope to see you very shortly when the show starts on the big stage.
Thank you for having me.
No problem at all.
So Nick, how are you feeling about this tonight?
Well, I mean, it's an interesting mix, and we've got Angela here.
We have our partner here.
Oh, right.
Who I will ask you to introduce yourself to our global audience. They will be meeting you tomorrow. Yes. But as a precursor, as a little teaser, tell our audience who you are and who you represent.
So my name's Angela Hultberg. I represent Carney Consulting. I'm the Global Sustainability Director. And I'm here to talk about businesses' role in the sustainable transition.
And so this is a question you're going to be asked tomorrow for sure. But again, as like a little teaser, what is businesses' role in sustainable development?
Everything, right? That's where the technology is, that's where the know-how is where a lot of the funding is. So I think unless businesses, push the transition, it's not going to happen.
What do you think about that, Nick?
Yeah, I think they have a really crucial role to play. I think government also has a role to play and to set the landscape in which they operate. But you were working for the Champions team at COP26. People, if you don't know COP26, it was the UN Climate Conference last year in Glasgow in Scotland. And I mean, are you optimistic that transport is really now starting to embrace that transformation that, say, renewable energy has done already?
I mean, I'm optimistic. There's no sense in being anything else, to be honest, but it's not going to be easy, and we're not on the right path. So we are not where we need to be, but the technology is here to get where we need to be. A lot of the OEMs are really wanting to get to where they need to be, and I think whoever's not on this path already will simply be left behind. So I'm quite optimistic, but it will require a lot of work. It's not going to be easy, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't do it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we have to do it. Yeah, absolutely.
And there's an opportunity here for us to actually come out better on the other side. We think we built this incredible world through sheer ingenuity and just desire to grow and to innovate. I'm not to knock that at all, but imagine what we can do now with all of that learning behind us and taking into account the fact that we have to be more sensitive to the resources that we're utilizing to get us to this new future that's more breathable, that is more, just generally more clean, more equitable. That's exciting, no?
Right, and that's the thing. The technology is here. Like we usually say, oh, we need to develop this. People were super creative 5 years ago, 10 years ago. They developed so many good things, and now is really the time to deploy them. We have the solutions we need to stay below 1.5. It's just about deploying them, scaling them, and I think a lot of businesses are willing to do so, and I honestly do believe that whoever's not will simply, be another chapter in the history book. They're on the wrong side of history, but they're also on the wrong side of profit, the wrong side of customers, the wrong side of everything, really. So I'm pretty optimistic that we'll make it happen.
We need more people like her in corporate, don't we? We just need more Angelas to be cloned and dropped into these multinationals or rather let Kearney lead the way, showcase what needs to happen for the sector?
I mean, I think there's loads of people like me. You don't always hear them, but there is a strong, strong, strong business case for being more sustainable. And I'm hoping Kearney and people like us can really show businesses that it is good business to be a good business.
I think human beings work very well if they've got a clear challenge to meet and they know what they need to do and they get the support they need to do it. And I think human ingenuity can get us out of this mess. And I'm really optimistic.
We have examples of it. Look how quickly we adapted to COVID. Look how quickly we're adapting to Russia invading Ukraine. And we have great examples of where we fought climate change before. Look at the ozone layer over Australia. Scientists said there's a hole in the ozone layer. We might want to fix that. These are the gases ruining the ozone layer. Everyone came together. Policy forbade them. Businesses moved to other solutions. And we fixed it. That's why you don't hear about that anymore, because we came together and we fixed it. So why wouldn't we be able to do that again?
I think you raise a very good point, which is when we see an emergency right in our faces, we're quite good. So if I said to you, you know, there's a mad dog there with rabies, it's going to come right now, we'd both give it a big kick, right?
Yeah.
But if we said the mad dog's coming in 3 weeks, I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've got to create that sense of urgency. Absolutely key.
And why people aren't panicking more, I don't know, to be honest, because we sometimes talk about staying below 1.5 like it's gonna happen, but we're already almost at 1.2, so it's already happening. And we will pay for climate change regardless of if we handle it successfully or not.
You know, that's exactly what I said to somebody just today, which was the fact that people need to internalize the fact that actually it's going to cost more to live with climate change than it will cost to actually deal with it in the end. And it's about the economy as well.
I mean, you can pay to keep the water out and use all that space for something nice, or you pay to clean the water up and you can't use the space for anything. You'll pay either way. So like invest that money to do it on your terms rather than just react to the crisis that happened to you.
Anja, I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Shutta, we have another guest here as well.
We do, and we have so much to talk to you about tomorrow, so thank you for the teaser.
Thank you.
We look forward to welcoming you on our podcast. Thank you so much, Angela. Enjoy the evening.
Bye.
We have with us Odessa Ray. Please join us in the middle, if you don't mind.
Odessa Ray. All right. Gosh, you have to tell me, where are you from? Why are you here? We're kind of asking everybody that question when they turn up, so sorry if it sounds a bit dumb.
No. Where am I from? That's always been a challenging question because I grew up quite internationally, actually in India, Hong Kong, Japan, Canada, the US. My parents are Canadian originally, but spent a lot of time in Asia. I'm here tonight because I am actually receiving the film award for a film that I produced called Navalny, about the Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny.
Ah, you did that film?
Yes, yeah.
Because I live in Berlin.
Oh, wonderful. I just came from Berlin.
Okay, yeah, so I'm British, but I live in Berlin.
Ah, okay.
And I was glued to this film, all these recent films about him. I'm sure your hand is in quite a lot of these, right? It turns out
lucky enough.
When he got out of Russia, he was in Berlin, wasn't he?
He was.
Basically discovered a lot about Putin's life in the former Eastern Germany.
Yes.
Okay,
So basically, when he went to Berlin and was in a coma after being poisoned, and when he was coming out of the coma, he was moved to recover in the Black Forest in Germany, in the southern Germany. Exactly. And that's where I met Alexei and was embedded with him in the Black Forest with the director, Daniel Rohr, and a small team, Nikki Waltel, our cameraman, and a sound engineer. And we were embedded with him filming a documentary from the time that he began recovery until returning to Russia. So we literally put him on the plane back to Russia with 2 cameramen to continue the filming of the documentary there. And during that time, they also made Putin's Palace. Maria Pevchik, who runs his investigations, was also involved in writing Putin's Palace. That was shot there as well, in the same location where we shot the interviews in our film. It was quite a very powerful, important time in my life.
How do we link this with climate change and sustainability? perhaps in the way that if there had been democracy in Russia in the last 20 years, then maybe there might have been a chance for Russia to have moved forward from being just a kind of natural resource-based economy dependent on producing and selling oil and gas.
Yeah.
And maybe there might have been a chance for a more diversified economy that didn't have to invade the Ukraine to show that they were tough.
Right, exactly.
And didn't have to jack up the price of fossil fuels going to Europe to try and fund their mad, crazy war.
Yeah.
If there'd been democracy, if there'd been a chance of an opposition leader standing for election, perhaps running the country.
Well, right now we're facing a very real sort of situation that is affecting sustainability and climate change, etc., which is the war in Ukraine. And I actually have been in Ukraine for the last 4 months during the war, on and off, making another film. And just now I'm waiting for a report that the Ukrainian government is creating on the effects of the war on the environment.
Ah, it's a good topic. We
So
had some
because
experts
of
on our
this-
show.
Fantastic.
On our recent show about that very topic.
So we're bringing on, so thank you so much for taking the time. I know everybody is moving now into the dinner, so we will see you inside. We really appreciate it.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Now welcoming as our final interview of the evening, the
final
legend
interview.
herself, Dionne
You are
Warwick.
last but not least.
Absolutely not least. Please join us here. Well, you don't need any introduction. You are doing the performance of the evening.
I'm not. No, Dionne Warwick is.
Oh, so sorry. Tell us who you are and what you're.
Warren. It sounds like Dionne Warwick.
Aha.
She's singing my song. So in a way, I'm part of it. You know, I guess.
Tell us what brought you here. Tell us your affiliation and kind of the history behind your relationship with Dionne.
You know, she's great. I've worked with her before, and she is doing this song I wrote. It's called Free, and I wrote it originally for a movie called The One and Only Ivan. Charlie Puth sang it in that movie, but the song has gone. What happens with my songs? They go beyond, you know, where the movies they're in, or they take on these different lives. And right now, and my friend Mickey Shapiro heard the song and wanted to do this.
Who we just interviewed.
Yeah, he's amazing. So he wanted a song for refugees around the world, and I go, you know what, my song Free, you know, is the perfect song for that. And you know,
Nick here is a musician, and he's
Yeah, but
bridged the gap.
not anywhere near as famous as Dionne Warwick. But my girlfriend's quite famous in Germany. She's a pop singer there. But she's called Bernadette Lahengst. 54 years old, that generation, left wing.
Those are great singers, man. You know, no matter what age you are. And Germany has some great singers. You know, Europe, like they love great singers out there. Germany, the UK. I don't know, but
Well, you know,
it's been amazing, I think, to have all these people here this evening, and you know, we've had some interesting conversations. I think some people really do understand there is a link between fashion and the future of the planet, and that's very important.
Don't eat animals. Don't wear animals. You know, that's going to save the planet. You know, I'm a vegan. I'm an animal activist.
I'm not a vegan, I'm a vegetarian, but I'll get there. I always say,
I'm
I got converted.
99% vegan. I just had a piece of pizza, had a little cheese on it, I have to say.
You know, I got converted to, I didn't eat much meat anyway, but I got taken to a slaughterhouse in Nairobi,
God.
Kenya.
It's the worst.
That converted me
Yeah.
overnight.
If
So
every-
instead of preaching about it, I think we should put people on buses to
Give me 5 on
slaughterhouses, and there'll be
You know what,
more
Paul-
vegans and vegetarians in the world, and you can say,
It will be done. Meat eating. Paul McCartney has a great line. He said, if slaughterhouses had glass walls, everybody would be a vegetarian.
Exactly.
Which is the truth. I'm glad you. I mean, horrible that you saw it, but that's what happens every minute. So.
Well, listen, this is our cue to call it on the red carpet.
Okay.
Thank you for being
Thank
our
you
final
so much.
interview.
Thank you.
It's been great.
Bye.
Good to
Thank
talk
you.
to you.
Well,
alas, we didn't get to interview Dionne Warwick.
We
But
didn't,
somebody
but-
with a very similar name.
who wrote the song? So, as far as I'm concerned, transitive property, we reached Dionne.
I
We
think
will
we've
see
got
her-
that.
We'll see your performance though, and it's going to be fabulous. So everyone, thank you for joining us tonight. This was Fashion for Development Sustainable Goals Banquet. And tomorrow, first thing, bright and early, please tune in to the We Don't Have Time Climate Week New York City broadcast. Nick Nettle and I will be well rested, hopefully, and kicking things off bright and early from New York City.
Bye, everyone.
Good
good night from New York. I just wanted to say that, like, good night from New York City.
Good night from New York City. We go.